Hi there, this is Amass Games and I'm here to show you another video. This is periodic. So this time around I've got the board just already out of the box just to show you. And here it is, quite a small board which already people have enjoyed. So we did play a game of this on Tuesday. I did the unboxing for you. You'll start off with taking cards out of the respective bagged up areas that come with the game, and you'll be placing them up here. Now, I did refilm this video once, but I wanted to make sure everything was sort of in shot. And earlier, to be honest, I just wasn't very comfortable with the fact that things moved around. So you're going to be chucking out these cards. These are what's called goal cards. And then you've got these shuffled as you wish. But I recommend giving them a good shuffle because there are some different points values on each of them. Everybody's going to choose a colour, so we're just going to give you a demonstration using one, which is purple or lavender. Everybody is going to be getting chips or currency, or in this case, I guess you'd call them elements. You also will sort out the element groups. So you've got these colours over here, give them a shuffle and place them in a sort of quarter arc. So what you could do is probably do them like this actually, only because it saves a bit of space and it's quite handy on this size sort of image on the frame to list them like that. So what you're doing is you're going to be choosing, so as the first player, I would start here. If I happen to be player 2, I'd have my microscope here. Player 3 is over here, player 4, and if there's a 5th player, they both start here. You also will having 6 cubes each per player. You'll be able to place these up on here in a second. But firstly, you're going to talk about this currency. You'll be using this to move. So if you're the first player, you're taking 3. If you're the second player, you're taking 4. And if you're the third player, you're taking 5. Then for player 4, you're taking 3 again. And player 5, you'll be taking 4. You'll also be choosing where to start here. So if you're player 1, you're going to go on 0. Player 1, when I say choose, it's down to whether or not you wish to choose to touch calcium carbonate. It dictates who's the first player, but of course you can use something else. But in this instance, having climbed up a limestone rock face the day before, then they said, yep, you can start. And of course, everyone got to see what I was doing. So players 1, 2, and 3 start here. Players 4 and 5 start on this location. This is the academic track. There's a way of getting victory points, which is very clearly written on here. And it's also acting as a tie break. So if you happen to be further up and there's a tie, then you'd be the winner. Over here, only one person can go here. 2 can go here, 3 can go here. So I start on metalloids, which is one of these symbols. It actually shows you here too. So you start on the uppermost position. Now what you'll be doing, or the lowest number in the case of something like that, you can choose to do one of 2 things. You'll start off with these also on one of these locations each, and you'll be looking to either take all of one pile, which allows you to move once based on what this represents, which means left or right, up or right, down or left, down and right, or up and left. And you may want to be trying to complete these goals. So what these goals represent is the ability to build a gas inside industrial light bulb. You'll also be taking out these reward markers for being the first person to complete one of them. Now, in this instance, there are 3 of each, and there are approximately 6 cards of each. The game ends when either somebody reaches here and here, so 2 people are there, or when one of these stacks is empty. In our first game, and we played as a 5, so you think more cards would go, this happened to trigger first. And I think people found it did take a little longer if we had gone for that, and I think it would have outstayed its welcome. So playing in 40 to 60 minutes, our game was about an hour, including a bit of teaching, setting up and packing away. It seemed to work. So these represent the difficulty. So this apparently is easy to build because it's closer to get, I say build research. So Krypton, so I see the number 36, I go that way. I see 54 is higher than 36 and I look over and it's here. So that does seem quite easy to build because of movement. It's quite easy to spend to do. If you want to choose to move, you must be moving, and it's one of 2 options. As I said, you can take everything on a pile, or spending 1 to move one of the directions, or spending an extra 2 for each additional place you want to move to. But you cannot move to the same thing you've already gone to. So that would be a level 1 or a single molecule. and that gives you 5 victory points at the end. If somebody had already stuck one of their counters on there, then if you complete it, they do benefit by getting 3 victory points. You'll be giving them one of these. On these guys, you've got 3 each. So if somebody had 2 on there, they'd be getting a 5 instead of a 3. So there are some good things to kind of go for something somebody else might be going towards. But at the beginning of the game, you might be deciding where you want to go based on agenda. So with 2 to 4 players, you'll be picking 3 and choosing 1. In a 5 player, you're picking 2 and choosing 1. So those might allow you to, say, get more victory points if you go up this track more, which I happen to have, or going for certain ones, which in my case was going for this one. I think based on the options, there's not too many, there's about 12 cards. The fact is, even if you've got used to the cards, people are still going to be working on whatever they feel is easy to get anyway, so trying to outthink them as to what agenda they're going for, I don't think would be a negative in the game. So this does take a little while to set up in terms of if somebody completes, you move it around. It's under a minute, and it does familiarise yourself with it. But I actually found, when I first found out that these actually mark where you want to getting to, is actually more of a benefit than a negative. And that's because trying to constantly look up here and find the location, you know it's green and you're finding where you want to get to. So I start on metalloids. If I happen to get to, there's nothing visible in this instance, but alkali metals. So imagine this card had, I don't know, bromine, so this would be blue. So 2 molecules together. I could go and spend one of my chips to go down and right. Have to go orthogonally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have enough. What I could do is chuck it here to move right 4 spaces. If I had then on a later turn had accrued enough, then just go down and go 1, 2. Now you can stop after spending one thing and basically land on it and then chuck a cube on. So it would have gone there if I landed here. If I then happen to land here, because I'm spending more stuff to go there, I will be able to chuck a cube on this one too. But more importantly, if it was, say, an alkali metal, which is actually over this way, what happens is if I end my turn there, I get to move my marker up again. So I'm now moving on to a different kind of academic track, or in this case, it's just called element group. The positive of this is this moves up as well. And again, this is giving victory points. This is, a difference of 5, 4, 4, and as you can see, it's quite nicely tiered. So, different ways of getting victory points. Cards, both outright or as an individual, or completing this, as well as your reward. The final thing is if you be one of the first 3 to get one of these, you can use this on a future turn once, and you can move an additional 1, 2, or 3 spaces. Here, you get to take 1 to 2 energy from one of the stacks. Here, it's a free trend. So there are a few more I can bring out. So free trend can basically give you something at random, increase something left or right. Now, the way it works is, it's either up or down, left or right, up or down. And then finally, you have the move to. So this is, we're playing it like at random, but they'll be able to move to one of these locations, anywhere they like. In terms of movement, you also have this, which is in another form of the periodic table. If you're here or here, whatever, you can move across and it just counts as one movement. So that is periodic and the scores. So it was actually a tie, so this did come into play. 2 people had 96, somebody had at least 18 points on one of their cards, somebody had a lot of cards. And I happened to come in third with 77 points, somebody else had 71, so quite close. And somebody had 51. Now, the person who actually took the longest on their turn to think actually had the lowest score. Sometimes the longer they think, they can quite rightly get quite a good score. But in their instance, I think they misunderstood something. So, this is periodic. I asked their feedback. What do they think? They like the duration. They like the fact that you can learn something. They did say at the end, I didn't realise, certain things existed. They're asking about Britannia metal, which is also in the sort of how-to sort of information around the whole premise and the history of the periodic table, and this is to do with soldering. So there you are. You can choose to move around, you can choose to go across, and whilst it's referred to as pick up and deliver, I think there's some of that, but ultimately, there's some interest there to understand a bit more about some of the elements, and discover science. So thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe to check out all the latest new updates. Thank you. Bye-bye.